But you really don't think that should just
So you
happen.
could have just paused and then not.
How I pause it?
I mean, you could have make it.
Purchase your tracks today.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today your girl is not feeling 100. I have a flare up on my wrist. Is hurting. This heat is giving me rashes all over my skin. Autoimmune diseases suck. They suck. But today we're back with Miss Kayla Peter, who is going to dive into more details about her story. I know a lot of you guys enjoyed the first part, so the more details, the more better it is. Stay tuned. Hi Kayla, what's up?
Ceiling. I'm good, man. I'm divine. What about you?
Alright, good. I dare. I have a flare up, but you know the people love us, so we have to do it for them. Yeah. So, what are you going to tell us today?
Okay, so today I'm going to touch briefly on my backstory. Purpose is to be able to get a little more insight so they can now connect the dots to understand where I came from, what I went through, what I did to become the person I am today and to reach that point.
Alright, sounds awesome. Now I have my handy dandy notebook, so you know I'm in business. We official today. Oh, you official.
Okay.
Alright.
Okay, so just to touch base on my childhood. In reflecting, there are a lot of things that came to the surface and came to my realization. First one was who I grew up with. So I grew up with my grandmother, which is my father's mother.
Okay.
Right? And that's how I realized that I did not have a mother-daughter relationship. You see? And that in itself was the reason for me actually being attracted to older women. You know, feeling the abandoned, having abandonment issues, and so forth. Right? My mother always tried to correct me, but my grandmother would always come in the way, you know, and that had my mother to a point like, you know what, that's my grandmother child. She will not try to correct me anymore because all how she tried to correct her child, she conceived, right, and gave birth to, she's getting in trouble, right? So I think it's between the ages of like when I was just born up until first communion time. So I never really remember that part of my life. Like I remember visiting my grandmother on weekends, but to say living with her, I never remember that, not until I had a conversation with my mother.
Oh wow.
And that was important to me, to have the conversation with her, because when I was going through what I was going through in 2020, just me realizing that I need to change myself, and I was trying to figure out why I have so many anger issues. If my mother didn't want to have me, if my father didn't want to have me, so I was doing a lot of research, you know, contacting my godmother, contacting my father, contacting my aunts, just so I could know and understand where that anger started from. I just couldn't understand.
Right.
And again, in reflecting, sitting down, I also realized that, hey, I picked that up from my family.
Oh boy.
I mean, my mother, grandmother, you know, my uncles, my aunts, all of them have this anger issue. The sad thing is, Sarah, they used to call me, point at me and say my attitude stinks.
I know, right? And where you get it from though? Like,
yeah, I catch the pettiness from them, all of those things. And I grew up with it, you know, and they would not even try to correct me. I guess they didn't know because they themselves
do the same way, right.
Yeah. They always used to tell me I will not reach far in life.
Oh wow.
Try to cast some spells on me.
Wow.
They say your women, not women, sorry, they say your partner, they feel sorry for my man, because then times they don't really know that way, you know. But they will be like, I do sorry for your man, you have an anger issue, you have an attitude problem. I even had a time when a friend of mine was telling me I was living with them, and they were telling me like, you grow old and lonely.
Wow. Let me just pause you there. I just cannot understand how people could just tell other people that and not expect that to mess with them mentally. You're growing up and you're growing up thinking you're not shit because everybody around you told you you're not shit. That limits your ability to do better unless you actually break through from that. That definitely messes with your psyche. I don't know how parents, friends, family members can go ahead and do children that, infants, toddlers, teenagers, and not realizing how there's so many of us as adults and we're walking around damaged.
So you're saying it? Let me tell you, I not contributed to my insecurities.
Of course. If it didn't, then
Contributed to it, and all that created the toxic pattern.
Most definitely.
Negative parts, all of that. All of that. But I was just so grateful that the first time I realized that it was my attitude problem was when I 2014, right? When I first lost my job. That was the very first time I lost my job, right? And that was because of a confrontation with one of my coworkers, right? And after that, I'm like, yo, this attitude thing is something that really keeping me behind. I remember going home to my girlfriend at that time, and I was pouring my heart to her. I was really on the bed, just crying, saying like, why everybody have to leave my side? Like, why I always have to mess up things that happening to me, happen for me, And that's when the person who told me I'll grow old and lonely, that started coming in my head. Like, if I don't really change myself, I will be like that for true. What they're saying is true. And I was also working with like an older person, right? And they were very miserable. You understand? They had a position, but they were very miserable. And the fact that they were miserable, they were driving their customers away.
Right.
So that also made me realize that, Kayla, the path you want to go, you see yourself as an entrepreneur. I've been seeing myself as an entrepreneur from that, right? Well, investor to be example.
Okay.
And if you're going to be interacting with persons and things like that, you have to change your attitude. You cannot be the way you are. You cannot be feeling the way you're feeling, thinking the way you're thinking, because that's just setting yourself up for failure.
It's true.
Take those people, those experiences as examples.
It's true.
And not realizing all that time I cry and I manifesting. Like I affirming and I manifesting. Why? Because I put in emotion into what I visualize in myself as, right? But deep down, I did not know how I would have done it. Become the better version of myself. I did not know that. That's why I crying and I sing like, wow, God does work in mysterious ways.
It's very true.
Why it is important to reflect. Take time and reflect.
It's true.
Because I also came to the realization that individual I was with, and that's why you have to start connecting the dots. That individual I was with, she brought me closer to God. She made me understand that aspect of life, right? Church, religion, all of those things. And I'm so grateful for that because I started seeing things in a different light. Okay. However, I did not actually apply the knowledge I was learning from the church, from the book I actually read remember I mentioned in the previous episode that my uncle gave me a book, right? I actually have it right here with me. This is it. If you know it, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey.
I have first dibs there, guys. So before y'all think about messaging her and saying y'all want the book, I want the book first. Just putting that out there, but carry on.
Yeah. So like getting all the information that I needed in order for me to change up and become a better version of myself. I had it, knew it, but I was not applying it. Guess what? After 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, I got myself in a different job, right? Which is Google's bottling company. Anybody who is watching that and you know I was working there, big up you. But I was working Google's, and guess what? I started falling short again.
Oh boy.
And it started being reoccurring, right? And I will look for all types of excuses saying I want to do it again because I know. And because I know the information, I used to use the information as a tool to get away. Right? But then guess what? That caught up to me. because again, you cannot manipulate the universe. You can manipulate people, places, and things, but you cannot manipulate the universe. So I would manipulate my managers. You check it. I would manipulate my coworkers, but the universe say, you know what? In 2020, when I actually repeated a cycle that I had with Blue Waters, which was confrontation with a coworker. So you see, I did not apply the knowledge that I needed for me to change, and they put me in a position. They gave me the people for me to actually. They made me closer to God. They gave me that knowledge. They gave me my uncle for the book. All what I was asking for, he sent those people, those places, and those things in my path for me to develop what I needed to develop to experience that transformation. But I constantly ignored that and continued doing what I believe was it, right? And I end up falling short again. The universe say you're not listening, you're not taking up what you ask me for something, I'm giving it to you, and you're not taking it. Well, I'm going to take it all away from you. And the so said, so done, because I repeated the cycle. I confronted my coworker, right? As much as I was wrongfully terminated, because both of us, it was we shared. How would I say that confrontation? You both use obscene language, and
Right.
the only one that was
We were both in the wrong.
That is correct, right? But I still believe the Most High Universe actually designed it that way. You know, because nothing happens just so, nothing happens coincidentally. That's how I believe. It was a setup for me to actually get that awakening, or for me to realize that epiphany. For me going through that in 2020, and I lost everything again, I'm like, and I lost the job, sorry. I didn't lose my car yet, but I lost the job. And I'm talking to the lady I was with right that time. It was a different one, it was a couple years after. And she's talking to me and she's telling me, Kayla, you have an ego issue. So she started pointing out certain things to me. I was really in denial about it. And then I started saying, okay, so if an ego issue, what really triggers my ego? And that's when I started doing some reflection. Right? And I really thought that individuals was the one for me. Was for me because of how much she showed, or I would say, all what she showed about myself. Maybe like she opened up and she brought it to the surface.
Right.
Yeah, I just thought that was the one for me. But guys, guess what? God sent her in my life at that time to make me recognize, because again, the first individual I was with was showing me about God. The second one was showing me about the universe, the laws of the universe, law of attraction, all of those aspects, right? So he sent two different perceptions or perspectives for me when it comes to viewing life. You understand? So in my mind, that's the one. But he was just setting me up to open up my mind for when he take everything, I can see it on a different level and see it working for me, not against me. You understand?
I like the fact that you said that you thought that person was your one. And the truth is, everybody in your life serves a different purpose. And I mean, I'm sure you felt hurt when you realized that she was not the one, but being able to draw back reference to her today shows how you connected the dots and realized the purpose everyone played into becoming who you are today. So what did you learn from that entire experience whilst you were connecting the dots?
Nothing happens coincidentally, and everything happens for a reason. That's what I learned. Because there is a saying Steve Jobs normally, Steve Jobs, I'm not sure if you heard about him, but he says that you cannot connect the dots looking forward, you can only connect it looking backward. And that hit me, because I realized when I was in my reflection, that's really what it was. Me understanding, okay, and that's how I was able to forgive myself, because I realized that, hey, I am the way I am is because of how I grew up, the environment. Because I grew up in the CDC too, right? And I was seeing a lot of things. Like in the CDC, in the middle of town, you see all type of things, right?
True.
This is why I suspect too that I started becoming rebellious at school, and I was having a lot of internal conflicts because I gravitated into my environment, but my higher purpose, or my inner child is telling me something else. right? But that's why I always used to have that inner conflict. I used to even tell my people like, yo, I don't know, but my mind telling me to do something, and I just feel like I'm doing the opposite. Like I don't know what really open all the time is my higher self and my lower self starting up in internal conflict. In fact, guys, so if you're feeling like you're always in an internal battle, it's time. That's just your inner child, your higher self calling you, calling upon you for you to actually gain some awareness so that you can maneuver more at peace, more at ease. Yeah.
Right. Yes, you mentioned that your inner child and your higher self and your lower self was battling, right? And that was a awakening moment. Now, funny you should say that because, most times we ask for healing from things and we asking God for help and we asking for signs, yet still, we're still loyal to whatever it is that's killing us. We're still loyal to whatever it is that's hurting us. We're still loyal to whatever it is that we want him to get rid of. But then how do you expect him to get rid of it when you're holding it hostage? You're holding it like you're not ready to let go, but you're praying, God, please let me let go. Even if I'm holding this pen really tight, remove it from my hand.
Like what? That's what you're asking for is important.
It's true. It's true. It's very true.
I'm just grateful that I did.
I'm happy that you did, and you're able to let all of us know because there's many of us struggling with all of this going on right now. So I'm happy you're able to be very transparent.
It's important, and that's the only way I'll be able to inspire and help anyone that's going through something like that. If they're feeling like they have an internal battle, they're feeling like they're the black sheep in the family, they're feeling like everybody pointing at them, and still have something negative to say, but they're seeing deep down inside they're good, they're the best person out there.
Right.
Why everybody having that negative thing about my attitude?
Right.
When I see people acting the same way like me, but they're not getting that type of remarks or feedback or
right.
So is there something wrong with me? Like, what's going on? So that's what really used to happen to me. Make me feel insecure, make me feel like I have a problem. Even people, back in the days, my girlfriends used to tell me, I said, you have a problem. You have a problem. Yeah. Some people used to call me fake because I would say one thing,
right.
I would do something else. I don't blame them now. Now I understand. I really don't blame them. But before I used to be like, how I fake? Because again, the internal battle. I would tell them what I want to do, but my actions is based on my lower self, and I speak in my higher self. You get me?
Yeah, you know what I call that? I call that a false prophet.
Yeah. Yes. That's why
I wouldn't even say fake. I would say false prophet, because no way you telling me one thing and you're doing completely opposite.
And that's why I took it upon myself on that journey to say, you know what, Kayla? Everything you say you're doing, you have to make sure your actions match that.
You have to.
And I continuously do that, and that's why I'm here today. As the leader I am.
So now that you're on this journey right now, but do you still have people that remember the past you and not ready to accept the new you?
Of course. There are people that literally telling me they don't even know how to have a conversation with me.
Wow.
Yeah. There are people that literally stop talking to me because I was okay. You see, the thing about it is, since I'm going for what I'm going through, if you're my friend, if you're someone close to me, I did not go for what I go through just with.
Right.
Wisdom's supposed to be shared.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to. How would I say? When you live in your purpose, you're supposed to help other persons become higher versions of themselves, become better, right? So if I'm seeing someone I'm close with going through something, I will want to speak. I've lost a lot of people like that because they believe that I think I know it all when that's not the case.
Right. And that's a misconception when you sometimes you give advice, but that's the thing. Some people are not ready for the conversation that you're about to have.
I understand that, but the thing about it is, these are the same people who introduced me to becoming better version of myself. These are the people who introduced me to the universe, laws of the universe. These are the people who have been telling me I need to become better, a better person. And why are you not receptive of? So in my mind, I'm just like, you know what? Like you said, they're not ready.
Yeah,
Fine.
or they false prophets. Let's not forget that word.
Oh,
Yes.
they false, baby, false prophets. What you
Yes.
I believe some to an extent, because when you look at what they've been talking about, when you look at the actions, when you look at the responses as to what I tell them,
Mm-hmm.
they're the one that actually catch feelings to a point. I was so like I was just being so I don't even know what the word, but I was just being a friend.
Right,
And I was just
right.
reaching out and I was talking to them. And the first thing they say, oh, I don't want to have to see that type of conversation you're about to have. I don't want to have it. Life is not all gold and glitter. They always like
Okay.
I'm like I did not why all that drama. You understand? So I understand. I just try to pull myself away. I don't really give people advice like personally unless they ask it. Ask for it. I would rather use my social media platform to actually send out a message.
Right.
Yeah, and who gravitate, who wants more details or more information, they can reach out to me. That's how I do it. I just allow people to do their thing.
Right.
And they let me do my thing.
It's true.
When I got my chop, I started remembering everything everybody was telling me and everything. I'm like, okay, that person was making sense. So I guess they'll remember my voice at the right time.
Hopefully. Hopefully.
But many are called to
Exactly, and some might just be there forever. Unfortunately. But now that you're on this awesome journey, what does your morning routine typically look like?
It's a very interesting question. To keep me
Grounded.
Because I mean, you getting tempted every single day. You getting distracted every single day. So for me, I would wake up, I would meditate. You know, I'll do a little meditation first and foremost for me to just ground myself.
Okay. That's for like how long?
Well, I started off 5 minutes. Now I'm up to 30.
Oh wow. Okay.
Right, so 30 minutes meditation, then I do my goals. So I will write, before I put my goals, I do my gratitude. So I write down my gratitude, 5 to 10 things I'm grateful for. So just to remind me to stay grateful for the day, despite whatever going on. Despite things not going your way, you still got a lot to be thankful for. So I write that down. Then I write my intention because I like to be, or I try to be very intentional with what I do. You have to be intentional as you go in life, especially when you're trying to manifest certain realities for yourself. So I set my intentions for the day, I set my goal, I write it for the day, and I write my goals for the month. I like to write because I believe there is a lot of magic that happens when you write down your goals, your thoughts, and things like that.
You know, I'm old school too. I'm doing this blogging and I cannot write my blogs on the computer, you know. I literally have to write it on paper first, pen to paper. I am still old fashioned. Afterwards, I proofread and then I type it into my website, you know. Yeah, that's a lot of investment. I just cannot get to me. I'm not feeling the words.
You'll see all what she's doing for you guys, Alright.
I'm not feeling the words when I type it in. Like when I'm writing, I get to pour out my feelings better. Like it flows. When I'm on the computer, it feels so digital. Like I have no emotion to it. Yeah, so I write it out and then I go ahead and I type it into the website and I publish.
Magic happens when you keep thinking.
Yeah, so I'm an advocate for that for sure. It is.
So that's that. I write my goals. I do my affirmations in the mirror. Right? And I just started doing a self-confidence in the mirror, and let me tell you, it has been working tremendously. I'm actually a digital entrepreneur. I do presentations and I've been so confident for the past week in doing presentations, and I'm not sure if you can tell the difference in my demeanor on this podcast as opposed to the last episode. So that's what I do. I try to really work and develop myself as a leader and as an individual as well. So that's the routine for the morning. In the night, I do a lot of visualizing before I go to bed.
Okay. But you know, all of us curious now because you don't come and tell us about you extra confident today. So all of us want to know, including me. You kind of just speed. Hold up, hello. You kind of just speed past that. We need to know what is this confidence. I want to know. I'm asking for me and all my people, right? Yes. What is this confidence?
Okay. Well, I found that self-confidence formula first in the book called Think and Grow Rich.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of that book?
No, I haven't heard of that one.
Well, that's a really good book. It's teaching you how to use your mind to create your reality.
Okay.
Because you know our thoughts are things, right?
Right.
So it helps you, and repetition and auto-suggestion, it teaches you about that. So when you do certain things daily, it starts to be embedded in your subconscious, and that's when magic starts to happen.
Okay.
Basically. Because once things are in your subconscious, that's when you start to manifest. That's why they say what you fear the most, because that's what you put a lot of emotion.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever you put a lot of emotion behind, that's what manifests. So that's why they say you need to be very careful, because that's what is embedded in your subconscious. So me going in front of the mirror and I doing my self-confidence formula every single day. The first few times I was like, what the hell am I doing? Like I feel nothing. But it's working in the spirit, because again we are spiritual beings having a human experience. So don't matter if you're not seeing it with your physical eyes or your human eyes, but it's happening in the spirit. And just believe that you're doing it, and set your intention and you're doing it for you to actually get results, and you just see the results. That is the new. Just like me, becoming a better version of myself. I didn't believe what I was doing, but I continued doing it because the book says to do it.
Right.
The personal development people that I was listening to on YouTube said to do it. The tarot readings, because I love tarot readings. People may say that's false thing, but you need to understand how it is for you to be able to relate to what they say, right? It doesn't give you your future. You just have to develop it. Yeah, you gotta practice. So whatever you see that you need to develop, you gotta make a decision, because you see when you make a decision, everything starts to shift and work in your favor. But you gotta be prepared to also lose out on the things that no longer serve you. And that may be like things you believe that is there for you forever, or is supposed to be connected you forever. But guys, you have to be open to letting go of the things that are not meant for you.
Whew, I feel you stepping on some people's toes there.
Yeah.
I think you stepping hard on some people's toes.
It's not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy.
Stepping on some people's toes. But being who you are today, Kayla, if you could be remembered for one thing right now, what would it be?
Impacting the lives of many. Yeah. And that's actually one of my goals I have on my goal path. Impacting the lives of many through my wisdom and through my actions.
That's awesome. It is. And I feel you on that, because some people have knowledge and they don't want to share it. And I want to tell everybody everything that I know. Especially if I feel like it's going to help you. It's going to help you. I started blogging and I started sharing my story about my illnesses to help me and others that I haven't met yet. I didn't meet anybody struggling. I was struggling and I just felt compelled. There was this voice just saying, Sarah, there's people that need to know what's going on with you. Sarah, there's people that need to know what's going on with you. And I'm like, I don't know nobody personally, and social media is just so intimidating, and what if nobody gravitates, and what if nobody cares? And I sat on that feeling for months, and I'm like, Sarah, some people might need to hear what you have to say. And I'm like, okay, fine, let me hear
That
it.
was your higher self and your lower self in a battle then.
And then I started and it just skyrocketed, because there were people that were actually what my voice was telling me. There were actually people looking for that, who needed that information, and I didn't even know. I really didn't know the amount of people that were affected by a lot of the conditions that I had. I had people come to me and say, Sarah, because of you, I feel like I'm no longer.
Yeah, you see, the thing about it is, guys, what I really want to say is that from what Sarah said, right? It's very important, very, very important for us to listen to our instincts, our intuition, because most of the times it's leading us in a direction for greatness, right? For us to prosper. And because it's not in our comfort zone, we believe that's not what it's supposed to be, or that's not what it is. And that's why, again, a lot of us settle. We have big dreams, we have big desires, but we settle because of what is required. And like she was saying, she was thinking, like, what if nobody likes it? She don't have any social media. She's not big on social media. She don't have any friends. But guess what? It wasn't just so that little voice in her mind was talking to her. It had to start in the spirit. It had to start in the spirit, and she had to make the move for every other thing to flow. So you cannot just have those ideas in your head, guys. If you have an idea in your head to help somebody else, or if it's a business idea, a business venture, guys, you gotta make the first step. Stop sleeping or sitting on your talent.
It's true.
Not because it seems like it's not in your comfort zone means it's not for you.
It's true. It's true.
Our success or our growth, I should say, comes from or starts or begins out of our comfort zone. Remember that. I had to come out from my comfort zone for me to become the person I am today.
It's true. It's true.
You think that if I used to worry about what people used to think about me, but when I lost everything, I had to let that go. I used to be like, right now, if anybody judging me, it's because that's a projection right there. Or they wanted to see me fall, and it finally happened. So right now that you're working on yourself for you to become a better version of yourself. So for those of you them that did not believe in you or cannot believe in you, could see, or not even you alone, but in themselves, that the possibility to change, that God can use you as a testimony.
It's true. It's true.
And I always thought I was one. I always thought. For some reason, when I was crying on the bed with the lady, I used to be like, for some reason, deep down inside, I was saying to myself, like, what if I'm going through all what I'm going through for God to use me? Real, you know. That is something I was thinking about.
I only thought of that, I think, through the years, simply because I would get diagnosed after diagnosed, conditions after conditions, conditions after conditions, health scares, life scares, surgery scares, and then I always seem to remain positive. I always seem to keep the spirit, and I'm like, maybe I need to be this. I need to go through this so I can help others go through something similar.
That's our purpose in life, to help one another, but yet still, we are all people there like crabs in the bar. They don't want to help nobody. You go through whatever you go through for a reason, family, so that you can be used as a testimony for those that go into similar situations. But we are all reflections of one another. Remember that. So once one going through something, they must have another person going through that thing as well.
It's true, and I'm learning that now, because in my blogging and in my sharing my story and my conditions, there's people that I knew, that not connected in my circle, but I know of them, you understand? And they're going through some of those things, and I would have never guessed. And they're an advocate for me now, saying, go read Sarah's blog, go check this out, because they themselves are going through and somebody else is explaining it. I've had people use my blog to be able to explain their condition to somebody else, and be like, you see, I couldn't explain it, but look, she wrote it. Go ahead and read that. This is what I just experienced. Let me tell you, I am baffled. These are the messages that I look forward to. These are the messages that keeps me going to be able to continue sharing my story, because I know somebody is using it for comfort. Somebody is using it to help them go to the next stage that they need to go.
Who's there? And that's the purpose of me starting that social media awareness thing. Because again, like I tell you all, me trying to reach out to friends and realize the responses. I'm like, there are persons out there that need that information.
Right.
They will be very much receptive of it.
That's true.
Out there. And let me tell you guys, that Me coming out of my comfort zone and do that has brought so many opportunities for me. So start getting out of your comfort zone.
If you could go back and give your 18-year-old self one piece of advice, what would it be? Just one piece of advice.
Piece of advice?
I don't see you scratch your head already.
Yeah.
One advice I asked the girl.
Stop being ignorant and be open to other person's perspective and advice. Because of my ignorance, I have to go through all them cycles to get to that same point and listen to the same advice that I didn't want to take in the first place. So, my 18-year-old Kayla, to you, be open, be humble, and listen to the advice given to you. Yes, sir.
18-year-old Sarah, what I would tell you is never stop dreaming. Never stop dreaming. Never stop dreaming, because I used to feel like my dreams are like too big. Yeah, man. I used to feel like, I'm not, I used to call it La La Land. And I'm in La La Land. And sometimes I would just dismiss a thought or whatnot. So my 18-year-old Sarah, I would tell you, never stop dreaming. Guys, I want you to write in the comments, if you could give your 18-year-old self one piece of advice, what would it be? I will be reading the comments. We will be watching all the comments. I really want to know what advice you would give your 18-year-old self.
Alright, guys, so I'm going to touch base briefly on the self-confidence formula. Alright, it goes like this. The first one is, we have five of them. Number 5 is my favorite. But the first one is, I know that I have the ability to achieve the object of my definite purpose in life. Therefore, I demand of myself persistence, continuous action towards its attainment, and I here and now render to such action, guys. That's number 1. Number 2, I realize the dominating thoughts of my mind will eventually reproduce themselves in outward physical action and gradually transform themselves into physical reality. Therefore, I will concentrate my thoughts for 30 minutes daily upon the task of thinking of the person I intend to become, thereby creating in my mind a clear mental picture of that person. So this is why I normally visualize myself on my future at night. Alright? So I could have that clear mental picture. Number 3, I know through the principles of auto-suggestion. What is auto-suggestion? That is when you do things repeatedly and it is embedded in your subconscious, right? Any desire that I persistently hold in my mind will eventually seek expression through some practical means of attaining the object back of it. Therefore, I will devote 10 minutes daily to demanding of myself the development of self-confidence. Alright? So basically what that's saying is, when you do it repeatedly, it becomes embedded, right? It becomes auto-suggestion. And no matter what's that's in your mind, it will come to fruition. So this is why it's important for you to be vigilant as to what is the dominating thought in your mind. Ensure that it's something that you want and not something that you do not want, right? Number 4 is, I have clearly written down a description of my definite chief aim in life. And I will never stop trying until I shall have developed self-sufficient confidence. No, sufficient self-confidence for its attainment. You know what I say? I will not give up until I get to the point that I'm able to accomplish it, align and attract what I need to attract, to accomplish what I need to accomplish. So I will not give up on what I need to build. Like for myself, my confidence in presenting. All that is me going in front of the mirror and reading that was for me to build that or strengthen that self-confidence. I still have work to do, right? Number 5 is, that's my favorite. Listen to it very carefully, because that's where a lot of people fail. I fully realize that no wealth or position can long endure unless built upon truth and justice. Therefore, I will engage in no transaction which does not benefit all whom it affects. I will succeed by attracting to myself the forces I wish to use and the cooperation of other people. I will induce others to serve me because of my willingness to serve others. I will eliminate hatred. Hear that? Hear that? I will eliminate hatred, envy, jealousy, selfishness, and cynicism by developing love for all humanity. Because I know that a negative attitude towards others can never bring me success. I will cause others to believe in me because I will believe in them and in myself. I will sign my name to this formula, commit it to memory, and repeat it once a day aloud in full faith that it will gradually influence my thoughts and actions so that I will become a more self-reliant and successful person. This is my self-confidence formula.
This is a lot. I hope you guys took notes. But you could always come back to this video or pause the video and write it down and start practicing it. I want to know what results you get or how do you feel when you say it. Of course, as you know, knowledge is only power if you share it. So,
and apply it.
And apply it, yes. And apply it. Applying and sharing. So, I really want to know. I hope this helps you guys along your personal growth journey. I also want to remind you that you are not in this alone. Sometimes it may feel lonely, but you are here for a purpose. And everything will make sense at the end of it all. It will. You just need to start. And trust the process, and you will get there.
And if you're going through a breakup right now, guys, don't worry. God is actually playing out to make something better for yourself, to attract better for yourself. It's not that you're losing something that's meant for you. If it's something that's meant for you, it's not lost. It's gonna return. So right now you gotta focus on you. There's a bigger reason, a bigger purpose for you all passing ways right now. Do not be in denial and putting yourself in a place where you are not at peace. This is how you will answer yourself, and this is how you get your answer, to your concern, if you're making the right choice. If you're not at peace, you're not making the right choice.
You hear that?
Yeah, it's true.
Choose peace.
Choose peace. If you have to lose out on those you think that is meant for you guys, you have to let go. Trust God, trust yourself, and trust that everything is working out for you and not to you.
Yeah, man, life can happen for me. Life is happening for me. Regardless if I don't understand it, life is happening for me.
Yes. I just recently posted a video on my social media which says there are people that's having similar situations, similar circumstances, guys, but have two different experiences because of the way they perceive the situation. Some come from a place of lack, some come up from a place of abundance. Which one are you coming from? Ask yourself that. Peace.
Bye.